Hey now, how's everybody doing? Thank you for joining us for Making Sales Social Live. If I only knew the name of the show, Making Sales Social Live, coming to you from the Social Sales Link Virtual Studios. I'm Bob Woods, Brynne Tillman, and Stan Robinson Jr. are here as almost always. How you doing, guys?
Great. How are you, gentlemen? Uh, do you hear
Oh,
Stan? Stan?
Stan, you're muted. You're muted on Restream, so you need to unmute. There we go.
Okay. And
Uh,
I was just saying I'm doing excellent if you could hear me.
yeah, there's a little wind tunnel happening there, my friend, but
We got it. We got it. We're dialed in and we are ready to go on AI slop on LinkedIn. It's a huge problem and LinkedIn is finally doing something about it. Now, it's been detecting AI slop and dinging that kind of awful AI generated content for a minute now. Lately, though, I mean, very, very recently, actually, it's rolled out a new feature that gives us, the users, some control and some say so into what exactly is AI slop. So let's talk about that feature real quick. Stan, do you want to tell people how to find that and use that real quick?
Yes, hopefully, well, I was going to say, hopefully you won't need to use it much, but we will see. Uh, there are three dots to the upper right of a post, and
Any
I think
post
it's,
within LinkedIn.
yeah, including posts from LinkedIn. Bless their heart. So they didn't leave themselves out. I checked the
Good.
post by Roslansky. So it's the second from the bottom, I believe, but hit the three dots, scroll down, and you will see this looks like AI slop unless they change it.
Yeah, the wording is actually seems like AI slop.
yeah. So,
That
this is so interesting because, we've been hearing AI slop from LinkedIn for a while. So adding the ability to report a post as AI slop is interesting. And I'll tell you, it's creating some controversy, right? Because here's the thing, and then we'll go into what really happens. But, you know, if my competitor doesn't like me, can they just report my content and my account will either get suspended or my content will be not it will crush the algorithm or get suppressed. It will get suppressed by the algorithm. So a lot of people are nervous, right? So it's one thing to have your content be AI, but anything can get reported, even if it's not, right?
right.
So keep in mind, and now we'll talk about not to worry as much as I did,
Hmm.
but keep in mind, right, when the ability to report this content is really for LinkedIn right now. It's
Right.
not meant to harm us as creators. It's really an educational opportunity for LinkedIn to start to identify content that sounds AI-ish.
Yeah, to
We
better identify, I would
to
say.
better identify, yeah. Which so here's the challenge, right? Or I don't want to start encouraging people to go out and start reporting AI
Right.
content for AI slop. Here's what I'm going to throw out there, and this is the differentiator. I'm going to throw this back to Bob. Writing with AI is fine. AI slop is different, and I just want to share kind of my perspective on the difference. When you write with AI, you start with your ideas, your transcripts. Maybe you had AI interview you. It is your core belief system. It is your framework, what you bring to the table. And then AI helped you write it. But you also now need to edit it. Assume it's 80% there. The AI slop in my mind, and then I'll throw this back to you, Bob, is when you say, I want to post on ABC topic for LinkedIn, make it clickable and engageable and give me 150 words. And then you take that, you copy it, you paste it, and you hit post. That's the slop, right?
Yep.
So I just kind of wanted to start with, we're not saying don't use AI. We're going to say, and we're going to share ways to do it better. What we're saying is you've got to have your own perspective as the core value, and then AI is your assistant. So last thought, then I promise AI is the college intern that you hired to help you ghostwrite your own ideas. So think it, right? Pretend it knows nothing. Do not go to AI to help you express your expertise. That's your job. That's your differentiator. AI can help you frame it in a way that creates more engagement. AI slop is when you say, I'm not putting my own ideas in here. I just want AI to write it for me at scale. All right, Bob, back to you.
And we also know, quite frankly, anymore when something is AI, just completely copy and pasted AI when we read it. And that's another case of just of taking the humanity out of a platform, which, I mean, quite frankly, LinkedIn was based on humans when it first started. It wasn't based on AI. So you just have to remember AI is a tool for you to use. It's not you. You have to put you in it still. So just to let you know exactly how that's what happens when you click seems like AI slop. Um, it's actually going to be a training signal for LinkedIn's AI. You're not actually, as of now, you're not actually dinging anyone who gets
Reported.
someone click that. Yeah, against them. So, at some point it might, but right now it's more of an AI, it's more of training for LinkedIn's internal AI that, like I said before, has been picking this crap up already. So, this just helps the AI even more. Now, the one thing that you will get as someone who has posted AI slop, and by the way, don't do that. But if you have done that, the poster does get a private notification. So, and that comes in through the analytics dashboard. So it's not public shaming or anything like that. It's a quiet signal to the author. So I do think that that's important. And, Brynne had mentioned, and it's something that I wanted to bring up too, campaigns against people to purposely try to drive down their content, even when it might not be AI slop. Guess what? That ain't gonna work. This is only for training. So,
And I am going to take a leap and say that if you start reporting people haphazardly or even on purpose, I think ultimately that is going to come back in some way to hurt you. Like
right.
this is really about helping the platform get better. It's not
Mhm.
about punishing people you don't like or you don't want their content to thrive. So
That is probably the best way to put it, I think, is just with that little statement. You ain't hurting anybody directly. You're just helping LinkedIn's AI train better on what you perceive to be AI slop. So, in other words, no vendettas against anybody or any company by using that button because it ain't gonna work. So, why do it? Just identify what you truly think AI slop is.
Yeah.
awesome.
I think,
All right.
yeah, I
So,
think, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, Stan.
I was just going to say the clarifications I think are super helpful because everyone is concerned about it being weaponized, number one. And
Mhm.
one of my concerns was that LinkedIn would get overwhelmed with people just reporting AI slop. But since they're using this as training data, this is exactly what AI is great at, which is analyzing patterns. So the more data, the better LinkedIn's AI will be able to analyze patterns. And so I think it's and their intentions are good since they're letting the poster know when their content's been flagged, which is helpful for them. And kind of a warning sign for them as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I do think that a comment up here. I'm not seeing the AI slop. I pulled up Bob's LinkedIn profile and on his current post today reminding us of this event.
I'm pulling it up and checking on my end real quick. But
yeah, that's interesting. Maybe it doesn't apply everywhere you see a post, but it definitely applies in the feed. When you see a post in the feed, you should be getting that seems like AI slop option. Maybe it won't appear in someone.
It may not be in an event. Like it just like a live event may not have that as an option. I'm going to go check.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, there are a lot of permutations on where and how certain things appear within LinkedIn, and it may not be absolutely everywhere, but it's in the places where a vast majority of people see where they at.
I do want to. So Joanne asked, ChatGPT knows me very well. It writes in my voice, so I'm not sure how to change what it writes. Here's the thing. Look for AI patterns, Joanne. Look for it's not this, it's that. Because even if it knows you and that's something you'd say, it actually is screaming AI, right? So there are certain patterns that AI puts out that triggers people to recognize, hey, this is definitely not written by a human, even if it aligns with the way you speak and your messaging. So, when we first started really deeply in AI, Bob was so upset because he writes with M dashes and he uses the word delve. Used to. Right? So, it was, he had to adjust his natural writing so that people did not think it was AI. Now, AI learned this natural writing somewhere. A lot of people might naturally from Bob. AI learned it all from Bob.
Well, from us. I meant from us, not from me, but it's obviously learning
I
from all.
would not be surprised if they look to you, Bob, for advice and guidance. So
that's
so the thing is, a lot of this AI slop originated from people that really wrote this way. So we did not term slop as that's a LinkedIn term. I'm not sure I would have called it that. I would have probably called it AI triggers or AI signals, right?
Yeah.
It's more like how I'd probably phrase that. But I would just say, Joanne, maybe even teaching ChatGPT some of the prohibitions that you can add. Say, don't ever use not the framework, not this, but that. And if you can take out some of those key, obvious AI slop, right? That's what that is. That might make sure that even though it's writing in your voice, it's keeping you safe from it being obviously AI.
Yeah, definitely. So I think before we get into some of the prohibitions and instructions to help you prevent AI slop, which actually, just so you know, we are busy putting together an ebook on this that's going to list so much more than what we're talking about with this. We're also going to give you a crispy prompt that will help you get to deslopify. Is that a word? Your AI content. So
I love deslopify.com. No, we gotta go
deslopify. Please no one register that.
So I just went. So Mark Bregman mentioned that in your content it did not have the report or AI slop. It is on mine. So if I click on the three dots, the second from the bottom, as Stan mentioned, seems like AI slop, and it's a diamond warning sign with an exclamation in the middle.
Yeah.
So check again, Mark, and see if you're seeing it in other posts, because I definitely see it in Bob's.
Yeah. So before we get to that, I just want to mention kind of the other big thing that came out last week, and Stan can help me out with this too. It has to do with Anthropic, the people who make Claude, and their new initiative about watermarking text and how that works, so that uh, so that platforms like LinkedIn, and it hasn't actually been initiated yet in terms of the platforms, but Anthropic has found a way to watermark text, but not in a real obvious way, so that AI detectors will know if something is generated by AI, especially when Anthropic is going to be implementing an API that companies can put into their platforms that will detect this type of AI generated content that isn't touched by humans, basically. So, essentially, and this is all confusing. I'm still a bit confused by it, but essentially, when Claude chooses between multiple valid word options in what it outputs, it's going to use a secret cryptographic key to dictate its choice. So when the text is long enough within a piece of content, those choices, and I'm reading this just because I'm still not understanding exactly how it works, over a long enough text, these choices leave a predictable statistical footprint, which is a little mind blowing, but it's invisible to humans. It doesn't inject hidden characters or anything like that. It doesn't change the readability or the quality of the content according to Claude, but at the same time, it is going to be there, and this public detection API that they're going to be rolling out, God knows when. It may be coming immediately, it may not be, but this API, which I bet LinkedIn is going to use and other platforms like that is going to use, that key is going to allow users and clients to estimate the probability that a piece of text was generated or heavily processed by Claude. So you got that working against you too, which is another reason why don't copy and paste. Make sure that your voice is in it, and just I don't know what kind of conclusion that I'm trying to draw from this. A lot of this is going to be devil in the detail stuff too, obviously. And Claude's just started doing this, and people are obviously reacting and overreacting and everything to it too. But just keep that in mind, that you now have another reason to not generate and publish AI slop yourself, because Claude's working against you. And the other ones are probably going to too at some point, especially because this was based on European Union
Yeah,
law
that's you
that they
mentioned.
feel like they have to do this.
Yeah, yeah, that's great that you mentioned that. So this was based in GDPR, which originally, like, you can't add
Mm.
people to your email list without double opt-in or their permission and all those things. So, but there's no reason to add it to the EU and not everywhere else when you're doing
Right.
it. As Bob mentioned, other people are not going to be able to see this watermark. Their people won't detect it. The big thing I think for this is going to be not just your posts, but when you're publishing like books on Amazon and other things like
Mhm.
that. That's, I think,
Yeah.
where we have to be even
Yep.
more hyper vigilant. Um,
Yep.
my son owns a little publishing company, and he has noticed now whenever you go to publish a book, it's asking you what percentage of the book do you think is AI written.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is a difficult question when you stop and think about it.
Yeah, I mean, because you could use AI for so much of the putting it together part, but then when it comes to the actual writing part, you may not be using AI at all for that, or maybe very little. But I mean, at that point, what percentage is AI and what isn't? I mean, that's there's all kinds of mind blowing things
I'm
behind that.
wondering, and I'm just kind of spitballing, if you put your content up into AI and say what percentage of this is AI, or do you detect as AI? Let AI tell you. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. This is
But
and like I said, even
it's a moving target.
yeah, yes, exactly. Both with the LinkedIn thing as well as with the Anthropic, and like I said, maybe the others are going to follow suit too, because this is EU law, and everybody wants to, everyone holds the EU to that gold standard when it comes to stuff like this. So
So I think, as we bring this kind of in for a close, and as Bob mentioned, we're putting together an ebook um, that should be out in next week's newsletter. So every Thursday we have an ebook in our newsletter. If you are not subscribed to our newsletter, you could go and download any ebook and you will get subscribed at socialsaleslink.com/ebook. Just download any ebook and then you will be subscribed to our newsletter. And so this one will be coming out and we will give you a lot more detail, knowing that a lot of our research is done on AI with AI about AI. So, right, like that. So, but we are also including a crispy prompt that has been updated since. So our clients get a lot of prompts from us. One of them is a prompt to humanize your content. There will be an updated version in that, and you'll be able to download that for free. So,
and it's not short. It's not a short. It's not a short prompt, but I mean, this stuff is building more and more where you really need that type of detail, and yeah, so there's that.
So here's the thing, the bottom line, don't be afraid to use AI. Just don't use AI independent of your insights, your input. One of the things in every crispy prompt that we have is the you, which is ask me questions, interview me. You can list the questions you wanted to ask you, or you can just say, ask me questions so that you capture my voice and the content you put out sounds like me, not AI. Like you can do that right in your prompt. Those are the things that will make a big difference. It will still sound like AI 20%. So you still have to edit no matter how much you tell it. How many times you tell it, I don't want it to do this, I don't want to use that. Forever, you would say no M dashes and it would do all the M dashes. Finally, that's gone. They stopped the M dashes. But you've got to read every single word. And
not only read it,
that for us, by the way. Stan is our humanizer. Thanks, Stan.
Yeah. And not only read it, but read it out loud. That's been like my thing for ever, 30 years ago when I was producing television newscasts. Read it out loud, and read it out loud in your voice. Like when I used to write copy, I would not only read it out loud. Back then when I was doing TV news, I would read it in my mind as I'm saying it in the voice of the anchor who I was writing it for. So, I mean, you can get like that, but at the same time, if you read it out loud and it's not sounding right to you in your voice, you've got to rewrite it.
I love this. All right, let's bring this baby in for a landing.
Well, actually, before we do that, we do have this. We have like a bullet list of all types of things to do and not to do, and I just want to highlight a couple of them, just because we promised we were going to have some on here. We obviously have way too many to talk about. All of this stuff will be in the ebook, but just a couple of highlights when it comes to prohibitions and instructions to prevent AI slop. You really have to look at structure and rhythm. So don't segment your sentences. The compliments are real words. The recognition is fake. You tell me, does that sound like AI? Yeah, to me, it sounds like AI. You see that a lot out there. So, combine that type of thing into one flowing sentence, or just state the point directly. No stacked or short dramatic sentences. No rule of three, which is another thing that I used to use.
I still do rule of three. It's hard to get out.
Yeah. No rule of three. No M dashes. Contrast and hedging patterns. No negative stacking. Not X, not Y. and especially no excessive hedging. That's
What
one
does
thing
that
that AI
mean?
really likes to do. Could potentially, possibly be argued that it might have some effect. Sonic the Hedgehog shouldn't
Oh,
hedge more than that sentence does. And let's see what else here. I mean, there are a lot of things here that again will be in the ebook, but those are just a couple of things. But I do think that when it comes to a lot of things in this list, reading out loud, you're going to catch a lot of that stuff. There are some things that are like really technical. You're not going to catch everything, but you'll take it from that 80% to like 92% or something like that,
I
which is
love 92%. It's an A, but it's not too overachieving.
exactly. So again, look for that ebook. It is coming out, and let's knowing that, yeah, definitely. So yeah, does anyone have anything else, or are we about ready
Oh,
to?
we have someone else. It's a shame. I love M dashes.
I know, I
Yeah.
know. I feel your pain.
Finally, LinkedIn took the right decision. So that's interesting, right? So I love that. At first, I was worried. I mean, Linda mentioned here that knowing the AI slot button is to train AI makes her feel
Yes,
better. Me too. I
yes,
will say, um, it is the right decision if it's about learning, not about shaming or punishing. Linda Burbaker says, my standard style for posts has been short sentences, sometimes single lines, long before AI came to play. Changing it now doesn't feel like me. I know, and Bob is the one to empathize and sympathize with you, because that,
yeah,
like, AI really writes like he wrote. And I hate to say this, but you probably just need to put it your own through AI and say, how much of this, like, write it yourself, put it in AI and say, does this sound like AI? And let AI tell you if it's catching it. It is frustrating, and I get it, but we definitely need to adapt a little bit to the new way
yeah,
of not writing.
yep,
Yeah. And it's ironic that AI is training us. And I think eventually the pendulum will swing back and M dashes will become okay again, for example. Because the only people who used M dashes in the past were writers.
Right.
If you didn't know how to write, you were not using M dashes.
right.
So I think eventually things will come back and people will not be as scared of sounding like AI.
Yeah,
But right
we all are
now,
really hypersensitive and about that, and hyper vigilant about reporting it as well, or just saying things about it stuff. So yeah, are good. Yeah, no,
This is
David.
this is what I was saying about. You don't have to worry about this. Our client, our I think it's our client
Yeah,
competitor is going to tag our client's content as AI slop. So this is the win here. It doesn't matter. Right now, it will not affect the author. It is all about teaching LinkedIn how to identify certain things. And if someone is now going out and arbitrarily or even purposefully reporting content, that if it I don't think LinkedIn is punishing it. I know they're not punishing anyone yet. They may in the future, but it will be, we'll let you know when that happens. I mean, I expect at one point there will be a little tag that says written by AI or something that gets put onto content
hmm
when they start to detect it. That is what I believe will happen. Just like on, like on X at one point, it would, there'd be, if someone had something controversial, it would put in that this is an opinion, not a fact, or something. I forget what it was doing.
yeah. The community notes. That's what it's called.
Community notes. Yeah. So
Yeah,
there might be something in the future. Right now, do not worry. If someone goes in and is marking your client's content as AI slop and it's not, I would not worry about it at all. Yet.
except the
Except.
one thing I would say is that, and I haven't seen this yet, but I guess somewhere in analytics you are going to be notified when someone tags your stuff as AI
You
slop.
don't know who.
I'm sorry.
I don't think you know who.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Not to say Joe
Who.
Smith tagged this as AI slop.
Right. Yeah, but still, if people are looking at your stuff as AI slop, even in an aggregate form, you may want to look at your content in the future so that you're not getting those tags and messages. So I wouldn't say blow it off completely. Just know that it's not
Use
hurting
it as
you
your own
in a direct
training.
sense. Right. Yeah, exactly. For your own training that, you may think it's perfect, yet if other people are seeing it as AI slap, which AI slap is probably a little bit too strong of a term at that point, but just know that you may not think it is, other people do think it is. You're going to want to take a look at your content going forward.
All right. We are over 30-minute mark, my friends. This is a long
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, we are, but kind of had a feeling that it was going to be long because this is a really important topic. So with that, we're going to wrap things up by saying, you know, this time when it comes to social selling and things like that, you want to know what you should be doing? You should be making your sales.
Social.
Social. Wow, we changed that up. All right,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
friends.
changing everything.
All right.
AI, what can I say?